Alright, so within this recording, we're gonna have a look at the Calvin cycle. Right, so let's have a look at the Calvin cycle. Now, we're just gonna briefly explain it. Now, for the Calvin cycle, we need to know that it occurs within the stroma of the thylakoid. Oh, well, not the thylakoid, the chloroplast. Stroma occurs within the stroma, right? It involves, right, no implementation of light, so it requires no light really, right? It is associated with an enzyme called ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxalase, Rubisco, right? And this makes the Calvin cycle and the production of photosynthesis sensitive to temperature and to pH, because we know the structures of enzymes and how enzymes react to those stuff, right? And we also need to know that it is going to be successive, meaning that it comes after LDR, the light dependent reaction, because it requires the NAD pH produced in photophosphorylation, right? Well, in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, right? So let's have a look here. The first step, right? Step one is carbon fixation. Right? So carbon fixation speaks to the fact that atmospheric carbon, the carbon coming from the atmosphere, is an inorganic type of carbon, and we know that carbon enters the leaf through the stomata, right? So it enters as inorganic carbon, right? Generally 3 moles we'll look at, so I'm gonna focus on all the numbers that you need to really focus on. So 3, right? And this is gonna react with ribulose bisphosphate, right? So a metabolic molecule here, right? We're gonna react with ribulose bisphosphate. 3 molecules of ribulose bisphosphate, by the way, RUBP, and this is gonna fix the inorganic carbon into a molecule that I call, or that we call, right? And 6 molecules of them, 3 PGA, 3 phosphoglyceric acid. Now, that is what carbon fixation is. For 3 PGA now, we have to realize that 3 PGA has to really be prepped for the next step. Alright, so I'm gonna show it like this. Hopefully it works. I'm gonna show it like this, right? So it has to be prepped for the next step. So we're gonna have energy being released. So we're gonna have 6 ATP. So this ATP is coming from ATP synthase, creating 6 ADP. So we have to show conservation of mass, right? And then we're gonna have step 2, which is reduction. Now, how does this reduction happen? It is because we have this happening. 6 molecules of NADPH, right, is reacting here, producing 6 molecules of NADP plus, and then plus, 6 hydrogen ions, right? So we have reduced NADP, right, giving up its electrons. So remember, it's an electron carrier. So it gives up its electrons to the 3 PGA, right, producing around 6 molecules of G3P glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, right? So that's what we have there. So it produces the 3GP, right? What we have to note is that actually one 3GP is given off, right? And one of these 3GPs can account for, let's load. One of these G3Ps can account for around half a molecule of glucose. Now, why not just donate all of these and create like 3 molecules of glucose, right? We can't do that, because if we donate all to G3P, we'll just be gonna create like 3 measly molecules of glucose, right? And we won't have any more being created. So it's a cycle. It needs to replenish itself. So let's see here. Now the G3P now will go through this. We'll have around 5 molecules left, because 1 gets laid off for the creation of carbohydrates. So G3P, right? And what we have here now is the final step, step 3. Regeneration. Well, it looks awkward. Yeah. So we're gonna have regeneration. Right? So what are we regenerating? Ribulose bisphosphate. We're gonna have energy being moved. So 3 molecules of ATP are gonna be used up to create 3 molecules of ADP. And we're gonna end up with the molecule we started with, right? Which is gonna be our RUBP, right? So we see that. So what we need to know, oh, there's something missing. There's gonna be the enzyme here, Rubisco. Right? We're gonna have Rubisco. The enzyme is present, right? So what we know now is that 6 ATPs used here and 3 ATPs used here, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, right? 9 ATP use overall, net ATP use, right? In that there, and we have 6